Dundas Games, haha! Groups A and B of the 2014 World Championship Tournament are now complete. We've seen half the field compete, bringing nearly half of all champions to bear through their battles. There were many exciting battles, but in the end, only 4 teams move on to compete in the quarterfinals. The other half will be decided later this week. From Group A, Samsung White and Edward Gaming move on. As expected, our Princes defeated the Paupers, but not entirely without a fight. Edward Gaming faltered considerably more than the analysts expected, finishing the group with 3 wins and 3 losses. This tied them with AHQ Esports Club, such that they had to have a special tiebreaker round to see who got to move on. I was so hoping for an upset. As I said in the last video, AHQ nearly took out a Titan. Instead, the Chinese supergroup moves on, looking much weaker than first anticipated. Samsung White, on the other hand, was absolutely scary. You could easily see why these guys are hailed as the best team in the world. Several nearly flawless performances and even a pentakill set the tone for just how hard the rest of the field will have to work to beat them. On the other side of the arena, Group B sees Starhorn Royal Club and Team Solo Mid advancing. I knew TSM could do it. In fact, they nearly had the chance to fight Royal Club for first place in the group, but seemingly got far too excited and stopped thinking in their final game against SK Gaming. They came out with only one other loss, their first game against Starhorn Royal Club. They admitted that they hadn't really done their homework, but the second time around they clearly had. They showed up and showed up strong to give Royal Club their only defeat. If TSM stays focused and really does their research, maybe, just maybe, they can make it through the next round. Starhorn Royal Club were strong throughout, exemplifying the aggressive, marksman-focused style of the Chinese teams. With one of the best marksmen in the world and one of the most famous junglers, not to mention an otherwise all-star team, they might very well take this tournament. Groups A and B saw 50 different champions played across the tournament. Despite that, several champions were clearly very popular. Out of 25 games, including the tiebreaker, Kha'Zix showed up in 20 of them. He didn't really get banned out for being too strong either. Honestly, I think he saw so much play thanks to his sheer adaptability. He doesn't have any specific game-breaking strengths, save for the ability to evolve as the game progresses. The same can be said of Lee Sin, who is just barely edged out as the most played. Overall useful and particularly strong early, it doesn't matter how much Riot nerfs him, Lee Sin will remain a pro favorite. Janna has made a surprising but extremely logical comeback this tournament. She was played nearly as often as those other two, and for good reason. With those other two seeing prominence as well as other popular diving champions like Tristana, Lucian, Maokai, and Yasuo, who better to protect your team than the Queen of Disengage? Between knockups, knockbacks, slows, shields, and a speed-boosting aura, it's really hard to jump into a fight when Janna's around. Though he wasn't played nearly as often, Rumble has also made an unexpected return. Played by both the advancing Samsung White and TSM, his strong bruiser presence, and particularly the hefty field control that is the Equalizer, makes for a powerful team fighting tool and badass objective control. Who is actually played the most doesn't tell the whole story though. There are several champions that players feared enough to ban a majority of the time. Alistar was banned in a full 80% of games. This is not entirely unsurprising, as the bull received a nerf only after the patch that Worlds is being played on. In the version they're using, Alistar is a crazy powerhouse and will remain so for the rest of the tournament. Zilean was banned 70% of the time. His resurgence lately was unexpected, but in the hands of pros, the Chrono Keeper is devastating. A team-wide experience boost ensures that you'll be ahead in early fights, and that ultimate is basically a free Guardian Angel for anyone in every team fight. Finally, Nidalee was banned 60% of the time. The Huntress is a powerful lane bully, and though she can be manageable if dealt with properly, most pros opted not to give the top laner the option to carry solo. Oh, and there was one champion who was banned a lot but never played. Aatrox was banned basically every time SK Gaming stepped up to the plate. This is because, apparently, Aatrox was played a lot during the European LCS, and was very popular there, but saw absolutely zero play in any other region. Rather than learn to deal with it, the other teams opted simply to ban it out. I expect this to happen against Fnatic and Alliance as well later this week. So, here we sit, with Samsung White, Edward Gaming, Starhorn Royal Club, and Team Solo Mid advancing to the quarterfinals. Who else will join them? What new champions will we see played? Will the Brazilian team play Mordekaiser? Find out later this week when Groups C and D play. Till next time, I've been Gin, and you've been watching me talk about a video game.